When I originally purchased this model, I looked into it and it seemed like the people were happy with the 220 volt model, but the 120 volt model, they felt like it would not weld the thicker 1.5 millimeter satisfactorily. So I've made some modifications to mine. So with a setting of current of 50, I would consider that welded pretty good now. Now if we're to try and pull these apart, you can see it does leave a little bit of the strip on there, and it does damage the strip. So I would say that's probably welded pretty good. So here is the welder set up at the same current level of 50, and I would say that's 50% of its maximum setting, up to 99%. And this is with the thicker 0.1 millimeter strips. And at that setting, oh, it looks like I missed the metal a little bit, so I'll get another one in there. You can see that it's welding pretty, looks like it's welding pretty good. So I'll just tack this on. So that's 4 tacks each. And one of them looks pretty close to the plastic there, so I don't know if that'll be a problem. But I'm doing this one-handed. So now I'll try and tear these apart. And you can see that it does require a fair bit of force to remove it. And it is, you can see that it's starting to tear the nickel strips, nickel plated strips, before it actually comes off. Here I have some 0.2 millimeter strip. This is actual nickel strip. The way I tested this, I put it in a salt bath, so water with salt, or very strong salts mixture. Put this in the bath, a small piece of this in the bath. It didn't seem to rust even on the cut edges where it's more likely to rust. But this stuff here, I had a couple pieces of this in there as well. This stuff, you can see it's starting to rust pretty much right away, just where the cut edge is. So this is nickel plate. It doesn't say that it's not nickel plate. It says right on it, nickel plated iron. This was sold, I bought it as nickel strip. And so this is much heavier. And so that's 99%, 2 pulses. I don't think I had enough force there. It punched a hole right in it. You can see the one spot where I blasted through. That's because the force, I didn't have enough force on these tips. And there is an adjustment up here. You want to make sure there's enough force so that these are applying enough force to hold the metal strip against here. So there's the welder with the pure nickel strips. I did an extra weld here because of the hole, but you can see it does look like it's made some good penetration, so let's try and tear it apart. And it takes a fair bit of force to rip those apart. And you can see that it's actually torn the nickel. On this side is where the nickel is welded so well that in trying to remove it, I'm actually tearing the nickel. And that's at the welder at 99% 2 pulses. And this is the 0.2 millimeter pure nickel strip. So the welder is welding pretty good now. Before I was welding everything at 99% until my modification. Now I use the lower current settings for the thinner metal strips. So I've already removed the screws, and we'll take the cover off. If you look at yours probably doesn't have that. It'll have something more like this. This is what I took out of there. This was the secondary winding. This is the high current, low voltage side. And I replaced it with wire of similar size. I don't know if mine is as thick as this. It's hard to measure this because it's soft and stuff. I think this is 4 gauge, but that's what I put in here. Some 4 gauge wire. But instead of 2 loops from factory, it came with only 2 loops of wire. So you need pretty much twice as much wire as that. So 44 inches of wire. So I bought some welding from a welding supply store. I bought some 4 gauge wire, and I bought some extras because I'm actually thinking of making some probes that come out of this. That'll be another mod. So I bought some 4 gauge wire, 44 inches long, stripped off about an inch or so on one end, put it in a vise, and then I was able to pull all the insulation off, slowly working at it, work off all the insulation, leaving only a foot on one end, just to hold the wires all together. And then I slid, you can see I've got some heat shrink on here. And the reason I did that is because this wire with the insulation on it was too thick to slide into here. And if you look at this, they probably did something similar. This looks like it's just a heat shrink on here too. And they've actually flattened it a bit to get it to go in there. So to do that, it's best to remove the transformer, and I've got some video of the transformer removed, but I forgot to show how this fish paper comes off. Oh, this here is actually a temperature sensor. So it'll work without that, but it's monitoring the temperature inside here so that as this coil heats up and stuff, it's supposed to shut it off. Yeah, so there's the thermal breaker or switch that's in there. So to get this apart, it's actually pretty simple. You just pull on this paper and one side will come off. You want to do this with the power off, of course. If you keep wiggling it, eventually you can get the paper to come off. And when I pulled the paper off, I looked at the wire that was wrapped around there, and instead of 4 turns, it only had 2 turns. And so I thought, well, more turns, more power, right? And it's made the welder work the way I thought it should work out from factory. So that's basically all I did. Was I pulled this wire out, bought some new wire, stripped off the insulation, put some heat shrink on it. I didn't shrink the heat shrink because that made it flat rather than round, so that I was able to slide it in there. And I figure as it heats up from use, it'll shrink the heat shrink on there. And then to put this together again, I just slide that in there and just work at it until it's nice and tight. I'll show you the wiring of the transformer now. So before you strip off the old insulation, start sliding on the shrink wrap. The shrink wrap is thinner, so it'll be easier to get it in or wrap it around the transformer. So I've already slid on a whole bunch here, but I haven't taken it all the way off. I'm going to do that just as I slide the heat shrink up, I'm going to slide this back. So I started off with it about 80% stripped, and I stripped off about, I don't know, maybe an inch, put it in a vise, and then just slowly worked it off. And so now I've got, I don't know, just about 8 inches left here that I haven't stripped. And I'm just slowly getting the heat shrink on. Once I get the heat shrink up to about here, then I'll strip off the rest of this insulation. So I'll keep working at it and cover the entire wire with heat shrink. So I'm just slowly pushing the wire through, trying not to damage the heat shrink. I didn't shrink it. I thought that might allow it to lay flatter rather than being round. Not sure if that's the best idea, but that's what I've gone with. And we want to go for 4 loops with the wire.
So that's 3.
Also, what I've done to get it started, I took the plate off the one side because it seemed a little bit tight in there. It was hanging up on the edge of the of this piece. It was just a little bit thicker, and so I took it off the one side. Probably should have taken it off both sides just to make it a little bit easier, but I was afraid that the laminates might start peeling off or something too. So what we want to do is we want to do 4 loops, and we want to end on the side opposite of here. So you want them to stick out this way, opposite of this, these wires. And we want to make sure we have enough sticking out to connect everything. So there, I've got 4 on this side, 4 on this side, so that's 4 turns. And I think that should fix it. I'm just going to even out these wires so that they're the same length. And then I'll hook it up and show you. So I've got the wires so that they're the same length at this end. And we've got, like I said, four turns on there. So now it's just a matter of sliding the insulative paper back on here. I believe they call this fish paper. And that'll insulate and protect the wires, especially along here. The wires against the wires, there's that actual layer of tape in there, the yellow tape in there. So that'll, just in case there is any breaks in this wire, sorry, not in the wire, in the insulation, if there's any holes in the insulation, this paper helps protect from vibration, and also just in case there's any exposed wire from the insulation being damaged. Ideally, you don't want to damage the wire at all, but it could happen. And before I go too far, I should probably, there was another wire coming out of here, and that was actually, I believe that's the thermal sensor, so that if this starts to overheat, it shuts down the unit. So before I get this too tight, I'll shove the that thermal sensor back in there. And it was held on with Celastic. The wires for the temperature probe were held in with some Celastic here, but it was just hanging in there. So I'll just jam it in there and it'll work. So that's pretty much it. We've got the wires coming out. And just enough space to slide that temperature probe in there. One other mod that I'm doing is I've scraped off some of the paint here. This is where the ground screw was, because it was grounded, but there's no actual contact there. They should use, if this hole is right size, this would probably work better, but basically a star washer like that, that helps to cut into the metal and provide a better contact there. So that's something that I think they should do to make these better. So that's what I've done. So I've gone ahead and removed some of the paint there, you can see, and I've also added one of those star washers underneath that should help to provide better contact for the ground. So now with the wires in these holders, this is your temperature probe, and we'll put that temperature probe back down in there. And these wires are for the lights on the ends of these things. There's some lights over here. So this is just a plug for the lights. But other than that, we just need to hook this back up. We have I disconnected the wires for the transformer so that I could take it out and not have this. I didn't want to unsolder or cut any wires or anything, so I just took the wires out. I took a picture of how these wires go back in. Basically, to remove them, to remove the wires, you just have to push down on this end a little bit, and then the wire will pull out. You're actually pushing down on this little tab there. So you push that tab down and then it pulls it out. And then when you take it out, sometimes you have to lift that tab back up a little bit, and then when you slide it back in, it should click. And I believe it was black there and red there, although I'm not sure if it is that critical. So once that's plugged in to there, we just need to plug it into the bottom here. And it's all hooked up and ready for testing. So I will run some I had to cut some tie wraps over here that held all these wires in place and stuff. I'll re-tie wrap that once I've tested it and made sure everything's good. I don't want to tie wrap it yet, but I'm going to go ahead and do a test run and see if it works. Here we are with the final test, which is the positive side and the 0.2 millimeter solid nickel strip. And then we're also going to try nickel on top of nickel. So you can see on the positive side with the nickel on the nickel, it's still a very strong weld.